Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of our Thanksgiving special. We're just gonna jump right into everything today. So I'm going to kind of be doing things a little bit backwards right now. Normally I do appetizer, side dish / main entree, and then dessert, but we're going to do the dessert first because this one takes a little bit longer to make. So we're going to start. I found this recipe online. It's from, what's that website? Delish. And I made 2 of these last year. So we're just gonna start with the crust first. Let me get a bowl out. I have everything kind of pre-measured, but I'm gonna show you this little trick first. Kind of a trick. I'm going to line my springform pan. I'm using a 9-inch maybe. So I'm going to just kind of fold this. This is wax paper, by the way, if you can't tell by the translucent, transparent opaqueness. I'm just gonna keep folding it over until I make kind of like a triangle, kind of. I'm gonna fold it one more time just so I can get it a little bit more accurate. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take my springform pan. I'm going to find the center of my pan and put the very tip on it. I'm going to push this back all the way. It's going to give me kind of a an outline by pushing down. There's my outline there. Just going to take some scissors and cut that outline. So now I have my circle that I can put my cheesecake down on. More perfect fit. It's not pushed down all the way right now. Grease the inside of the pan. I have my oven preheated to 325 right now. Now that I have my springform pan greased and lined with my wax paper or parchment paper, you're going to take a sleeve of graham crackers. For convenience and length of the video, I've already crushed them. We're going to take these, just dump them into a bowl. You want to make sure they are finely crushed. These ones aren't very finely crushed, so give me just a couple seconds so I can crush them all up. Okay, so now that they are crushed, you can kind of hear it. It would probably be better if you did this in one of those little food chopper things. It'd probably make it a lot easier. I crushed mine in the sleeve. I kind of like a little bit of chunk in my graham cracker crust, but that's just me. That's up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to melt 5 tablespoons of butter and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think my butter is ready. Oh, yep, it is. It's definitely melting. So I'm going to just take this butter and pour it over my graham cracker crumbs. It's a little drippy. I'm also going to take a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I have it packed in here. That way you know you want as much as you can. And I'm going to take a pinch of kosher salt. That was more than a pinch. I'm going to mix these up. Talking a little bit louder because it's going to be loud. So I forgot to tell you, because I forget something at every episode at some point. Whenever you do your graham cracker crumbs, I do my graham cracker crumbs the flavor based on what I'm making. So for example, this one's for a pecan pie cheesecake, so I'm using cinnamon graham crackers because cinnamon goes really well with the pecan pie topping that we're going to put on at the end. If I'm making something Oreo cheesecake, I'll use chocolate graham crackers. Honey would be good for almost anything else, but cinnamon kind of gives it that fall little oomph to it. So now that everything is kind of mixed in together, I'm just going to take this and put it in my pan. You can take just your fist and push down, make sure it's spread out pretty even. Okay, so now that the graham crackers are spread out and put down, they're packed, I'm gonna show you a little trick that my aunt taught me last year. So last year I made this cheesecake twice. My first attempt, it cracked right down the middle. I did not know what I did wrong. I didn't know if it was normal because I'd never made a cheesecake like this before. Well, my aunt happened to, sorry, that was loud. That's still loud. My aunt happened to see that and she said, hey, I might have a solution for you. I had never heard of this. Well, now I'll show y'all. I'm just going to wrap the bottom of the pan in aluminum foil, kind of make a wall. And I'm just going to set this inside a bigger pan. I'm just going to set all this to the side now because we're going to make the cheesecake filling. Okay, so now we're going to, okay, no, I'm not doing, okay. So. Now for the filling. So what we need for this, we need 3 bars of cream cheese. You want them to be softened. It makes it a little bit easier to mix in with the mixer. So I'm just going to prep this up. And we'll just stick these on in there. So now that I'm done struggling with that, I'm going to start this. I'm just kind of get them all mixed together. All 3 cream cheese bars just mixed. I'm going to take, let me get that out. I swear these were soft. I swear they were. So now I'm going to take a cup of brown sugar, and that one is also packed. Not anticipating this. Let me lock that and get it going. While that's doing that thing, I'm going to crack 1 egg and add them one at a time. So now I'm going to take my sour cream, open this up, it's a nice fresh container. I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of this. That looks about right, but probably not. Nope, needs a little bit more. That looks about right. A little full, but there's spaces in there. I'm just going to keep mixing this. That's still mixing to get the lumps out. I'm going to take my flour, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in there. It seems a little bit smarter to do this way. I'm going to take some vanilla extract. It's about 1 teaspoon. I'm just going to put that in there as well. And then just a little bit of kosher salt. Pump it up to the high speed so we can get all the little lumps out now. Okay, so this is about done. Just gonna take this up, get all the extra off of there. Nice little transition. I'm gonna take the filling and just pour it straight over the crust mixture. I want to make sure it's all spread out evenly. Just tapping it out to get the air out from there. The reason why it's another pan is you want to take another little glass of water and just pour it in. This is the whole thing of what my aunt taught me. It allows, as it's cooking, it allows the water to be retained and it keeps it from cracking. So I'm just gonna put the water in there and this is ready to go in the oven now. I had to look online just to make sure, but the cook time is 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer on my phone. I'm gonna clean up and we're gonna get started on the next recipe. Our cheesecake is in the oven now. We have, let's see, we have 55 minutes left on the cheesecake. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to make the mac and cheesy. It's mac and cheese, but it is Terry Crew's recipe for it. I saw it on Facebook a couple of years ago. I tried it, I loved it, and I make it every year for Thanksgiving now. So I'm gonna start with my handy dandy plastic bag. He also uses one in the video. And I'm just gonna take some coconut oil. I'm just gonna spread this, and this is gonna be what greases our pan. The last time I made the mac and cheesy, we didn't have power in the house. And the next day when I made the mac and cheesy and the power was back on, the coconut oil had actually melted because it was so hot. So pray for your Texas friends who lose power in the summer. Our pan is now lightly greased thanks to my protector. My hand is not greased. So I've already cooked the the macaroni noodles. You want to cook them al dente so they're kind of squishy. And I'm just gonna mix these up right now so they don't stick. They're a little hot. I'm gonna put the grease pan up just a little bit for now. We have cottage cheese. We're gonna take, is it 2 cups I believe? Yes. 2 cups of cream style cottage cheese or small curd. I have small curd right now. So just 2 cups of this. I've got a 24-ounce container, so that's gonna be 1/3 of this container. And there's 1/3 of the container. So I've got my cream cheese, or not my cream cheese, my cottage cheese. We're gonna take an 8-ounce carton of sour cream. This entire thing is just gonna go in. So now there's our sour cream. We have a lightly beaten egg that's going in also. And 2 cups of sharp cheddar. Let's see. This is a 4-cup bag, so I'm gonna put half the bag in. We're also going to take a little bit of salt. I'm using kosher. I'm just going to put that on top, and we're mixing this all together. So you want to be careful about this because the macaroni noodles are hot, the cheese is cold, cheese melts when it's hot. That's just common sense. Terry Crews does this thing on his video where he kind of folds it in. My bowl's not big enough. I probably should have used my bigger bowl, but I did not because I was not thinking ahead. So I kind of just take it from the side and mix it. It's a really easy dish to make. Like I said, I've made it a couple of times before, and I always seem to enjoy it. It heats up very well, and what we're gonna do is we're putting this all in this pan in front of me, and we're gonna put it in the oven. It's supposed to be for about 35 minutes at 350, but because our cheesecake is in the oven right now at 325, we're just gonna put this on the bottom rack, and we're gonna cook at 325, but for a little bit longer. So now I've done that, I'm just going to pour that in here. And spread it on out. Now this recipe says it feeds 4 people. I don't think so. I mean, I guess if this is the meal, but this is a side and this is meant to be so that 20 something people can have this at our Thanksgiving dinner. Now that it's nice and evenly spread out, we're gonna take some more cheese and just sprinkle it on top. When I saw this recipe from Terry Crews, I had to try it. He is one of my favorite celebrities, not just from his role in White Chicks, but he's in a lot of other things, but just his personality. Speaking of White Chicks, if you watch Lip Sync Battle, he was on Lip Sync Battle and did another rendition of 1,000 Miles, and you have to watch that. It's hilarious. Now that I've got cheese on there, we're gonna take some paprika. My mom has these fancy little containers, and we're just going to put it over the top, give it some color, give it a little bit of flavor. And we're just gonna stick this in the oven. We'll wait until the cheesecake is done. It should be done also at the same time, but we'll check it periodically. Next we have our Pickle Poppers. The Pickle Poppers are going to be keto friendly and low carb. I saw this recipe on Facebook also. It just scrolled past me and I was like, ooh, pickles, I like pickles. So whenever you eat pickles, eat Pickle Poppers, you want to kind of dip them in something. I mean, you don't want to, I want to. So I'm going to make a homemade ranch dressing recipe that my mom has in her little recipe box. So I'm actually gonna make a half recipe of this because we only have 16 pickles that we made from our recipe that we're doing. So let me start with, we'll do the mayo. Normally it is a ½ cup of mayo, but I'm doing a ¼ cup. So I'm just gonna take the mayo, make sure it's the right amount. Fun fact, my sister's nickname is Lil Mayo. I don't even remember how I got to that. Anyway, that's about a ¼ cup of mayo. A little bit chunky, not really chunky, that sounds gross. It's not chunky, I promise it's not chunky. I don't have a place to put this. That works. I don't want to reuse the spoons. So next we're gonna put the half of the ½ cup of sour cream, so a ¼ cup of sour cream. So it's basically equal parts sour cream and mayo. I mean, that's kind of what gives it the white and the consistency. that to the side because we're done with that one now. Typically a 1/4 cup of milk, but we're gonna do a 1/4 of a quarter. That's an 1/8. I just realized it's called an 1/8. My bad, y'all. A little bit special today, but it's okay. So let's see, we have our parsley flakes. Typically it would be 2 tablespoons, but I'm putting 1 tablespoon because it's a half recipe. I keep saying that to stress that this is only a half recipe. We'll do a 1/2 teaspoon of dried dill. We found out that it is actually, I wrote it real tiny on here, 3 times the amount of dill if it's fresh dill. So that's a 1/4 teaspoon. Here we go, 1/2 teaspoon on this side. A little extra dill is no big deal. I'm proud of myself. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm proud of myself. Let's see, we have a 1/2 teaspoon of basil. So we'll put a 1/4 teaspoon of basil. Let's see, onion powder and garlic powder are each 1 teaspoon. Okay. I'll put them just so I don't mix them up. I'm gonna use a new one for this one. So since these are gonna be 1 teaspoon, we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of each one. Generous. Okay. Salt and pepper. I just filled these. It's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So not really putting too much in there. And then we're just gonna mix it. And making your own homemade ranch is that easy. You can add more mayo and sour cream if you want it thicker, more milk if you want it a little bit more liquidy, but I feel like this is the perfect texture for us. We'll move on to the pickles next. Okay. So our cheesecake is done. It only slightly started to crack. I think that was because I ran out of water in there. The water leaked out. And here we have our mac and cheesy. They finished perfectly. I'm gonna put this on a rack to cool so we can get the next step going on this, and I'll get right back to you with the pickle poppers. So now that we've made the ranch, we're on to the pickles now. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just scooping the meaty, seedy part from the middle. I cut them in half already, and I'm just scraping them with a spoon and putting them on a towel to dry. I have a baking pan already prepped with aluminum foil, and I've got a rack for on top. I was reading online, it said that this actually will let them be a little bit more crispy as they're baking, and I do like crispy poppers and bacon. I have the bacon right now. It's cut in half because these pickles, you want to make sure to use dill pickles. These pickles are pretty small in size, in my opinion. So while these are kind of drying, because they are very juicy pickles, I'm gonna put them up here for now. We have our softened cream cheese. That is apparently being held together by super glue. I'm gonna put this in our little mixing bowl. It calls for 6 ounces, which is 3/4 of the bar, but I don't know that we're gonna use all this anyways, so I'm just gonna put the whole thing in. Let's see what else it calls for. It says 3/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. That's about a 1/2 cup. There we go. We have shredded cheddar. 1/2 of a tablespoon of red pepper flakes and 1 tablespoon of chives. There's my tablespoon of chives, and I gotta pull out. I'll just use half of this one. Okay. It does use a hand mixer, but I actually don't have a hand mixer here, so I'm going to use a fork and kind of mash and mix it together. A hand mixer definitely would be easier, or even just my hands. I guess I'll do my hands. Don't want to get that dirty. Like when you're making meatloaf. This actually feels really weird. My family's gonna watch this video later and be like, she put her hands all up in that. Yeah. This is actually very controllable this way too. It lets me actually get it all in. So now I have a cream cheese ball. Okay, this actually really was really easy. I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I have 16 pickles. So I guess I'll split this into 16 little balls. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to roll these out. I guess that makes it a little bit easier. And just plop them on top of my pickle. I'm gonna wrap these in bacon. So I'm gonna show you that so I can get these all done. So just gonna wrap them in bacon like that. We're gonna stick them on the rack and we're gonna bake them in the oven for, I think it says 10 minutes. Oh, 35 minutes, my bad. However long it takes for your bacon to finish cooking. That's the really good timing for it. Okay, I'll get back to you in a little bit. So I'm done baking. Unfortunately, everything we made today was in the oven, so it took a little bit longer. I got a little bit of grease stain on my shirt today, but it's okay. Yeah, so we made our pecan pie cheesecake. It does not have the topping on. We have our keto low carb pickle poppers and our homemade ranch dressing and our mac and cheesy courtesy of Terry Crews. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us. We have all of our social media on our Facebook page, specifically Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Make sure to join us next month in December for a couple of our other videos. We're going to do a part 2 of Christmas cookie alternatives and a couple other videos, so stay tuned.